Ah, hi, Anifa.
See me? Oh, great. Hello everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, so
Yes, great to have you on
I'm going
board.
to try sharing. Yeah, thank you. It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. Um, Especially on the topic, you know, building an ambassador program. It's been something that we've been doing. Well, I've been doing for over 3 years. Ever since I joined Ingressive for Good, or an Ingressive family generally. So I'm excited to talk about this topic. And hopefully everybody gets to learn something from here.
Yes.
Okay, so this does not have the feature of showing the type of screen that I think. Ah, excuse my thousands and thousands of tabs.
Sure, sure.
Just trying
We're
to
all
see.
techies, we
So
understand.
okay, but just so we don't waste so much. Right. Yeah. But I think I'm like kind of enjoying the platform, the seventh, right?
Yes,
It's pretty cool actually. So I'm excited to see how it's go. Yeah. Um. So just like you said, and I work as a programs and at Ingressive for I've been with the Ingressive family for over 3 years. I started community um long before I joined Ingressive. Um, I started as I and a couple of friends, we built the first tech community in my school, my alma mater at the time, and that was how the journey started. But I didn't know what community or choosing community as a profession consciously until a couple of years ago, or let's say when I started as Arts Inclusive. And then I'm going to be talking about specifically the ambassador program and looking at it outside of just like the edtech system, looking at it outside of the um, non-profit organization. We're going to be looking at it like from any business, any company or brand, and how you can build an ambassador program. So do let me know if you can still see my screen. I'm just going to keep doing this.
sure. Yes, yes, Anifa, we can see your screen.
Hello, can you see me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Um, okay, so in building an ambassador program, there's something called customer to customer, C2C, and that's pipeline is such that we have a way where our customers talk to each other. So in case of a nonprofit, the people that we're trying to impact, they're with each other. Let's say an example, let's say Duolingo. Those are that means customers will be those people that are trying to learn the languages, and they're speaking with each other, they're communicating with each other. And a lot of the time, let's say before now, businesses are always scared to have customers speaking with each other. So it wasn't feeling so good, gets proper service and talks to somebody else, affects, that is going to give that other customer or that other person. That's why customer to customer is now the method that people are now looking at, and that's why community is important. That's why you hear community becoming the buzzwords going around. So the basic is number customer's voice is the most important. I don't know if it's the same thing across the country, but like here in Nigeria, is like the basic stuff that we understand in terms of looking at it from the market point of view. The customer's voice is the most important. You want to always listen to what they say. They're always right. Yeah, they say customer is always right. And then the second is community is the future of business. Like I said, there's always this buzzwords going around now that's community, community, community. Um, so if able to understand this, and we now know that community is, a group of people that are, leveraging your platform or leveraging your services, how then do you now talk to these people? How do you drive value? So before we even talk about building the program, I want to also say that in terms of your programs, distributed program is one of the most effective ways to be able to build customer relationship. Like if you look at almost all the ways that you want to build your business, or you want to have more impact in your business or in your company or in your nonprofit, like I said, this works in almost every type of brands out there. Distributed program is the best way. Distributed in the sense that your people or the people that you're serving are the ones championing your program, right? And that's why it is really important. Having that mindset first will give you the the opportunity to explore the ambassador program to the fullest. So the first thing is building the program. So to build your program can be so for example, I'm going to be using a lot of Ingress for Good example. So for Ingress for Good, we have ambassadors that lead tech communities in their institutions, in campuses. So we have lead ambassadors and co-lead ambassadors in those institutions. Now, to be able to build that program, what we needed for them was we needed to one define the purpose. Now, the purpose for that program is for us to be able to get more students to learn tech, to come into tech as fast as possible and as quick as possible for them to get that decision fast. So that's the purpose for the campus program. And for us to do that, we needed people that are right in the campuses that already have an urge in terms of learning tech. So that's the purpose. Now the goals and values would be for us, the goals and value was to help others, to add value, to connect, and to keep growing. So that's like those are our values. And those are what we tell our ambassadors, that's what we need you to do. So for whatever program that they want to do, it's going to be around those goals, it's going to be around those values. For example, if they want to help others, say, for example, start a career in tech, one of their program would be, say, doing an event or a webinar or a meetup to talk to newbies about how to start a career in tech, and then they invite speakers around those areas. Values are very, very important. Let me just go outside of Ingress for Good so we can see other examples. I'll use Duolingo again because I love Duolingo. So for Duolingo, the goals and values would be they want a lot more people to learn languages, and obviously they're going to be experts that are they love the language that they're teaching, and they love to teach other people about those languages. So those are going to be the goals, those are going to be the values. So you need to clearly define all this, how your programs are organized. So this is also really important in the sense that one, you probably want to do by location meaning geography. So ambassador of Lagos, ambassador of Nigeria, right? Or for us is by institution, ambassador of Lagos State University, ambassador of UNICAL, ambassador of by location. And there's also if you don't necessarily have by location, let's say for example it doesn't necessarily work for you, you could do by topic or by interest. So that could be something like so say for languages, ambassador of English, ambassador of Spanish, ambassador of French, ambassador of Arabic. Now these are different ways that you need to kind of sit down, look at the way your business is or your brand is, and try to determine how your programs are going to be organized. Then finally, in terms of building your program, what type of programs do you want to do? Now this is relatively easy. In-person, virtual, hybrid, you could do anyone in the mix. And you could also have specificity in terms of you want to stick to hackathons or webinars or meetups or events, summits like these events. And there's some other brands that they no matter what, they can't even do an hackathon, because what's their own with an hackathon? They're not a tech event, right? So those are different types of the core 4 stuff that you have to determine in terms of building your program. That would help your ambassador. So you have to determine all this first. And then next is the leadership structure. I wanted to kind of remove this, but I was like, okay, let's talk about it a little bit. So leadership structure in the sense that how many people do you want to have as an ambassador in those type of programs that you want to organize? How many people can handle the type of programs that you want them to organize. For Inclusive for Good, we decided at first when we had under the ICA program a couple of years ago, what we did was we had up to 5 ambassadors in a school, and not necessarily lead ambassador. They were all ambassadors. They could do as much event as they can, and it was pretty great, and it was really good because then we were able to iterate. We were able to see ambassadors that were really doing well. We were able to see ambassadors that were like going over the top. We're even able to determine the type of ambassadors that we want to have moving forward. And when we launched as Inclusive for Good, we went back to the drawing table. What type of job we want to have? And we saw that okay, having a lead ambassador and a co-lead ambassador would be really good. And that means the lead could focus on having conversations with the school management, liaising with us. Same thing with the co-lead. Co-lead could focus on having conversations with the community members or with other team ambassadors. We even had allowed them to have up to 10 team ambassadors. Team ambassadors are those that they don't necessarily they're not picked by us, they're picked by the lead and co-leads. And they're able to have like specific tasks like maybe head of finance or head of volunteers or head of like different areas of the type of programs that they're having. And then you could also want to just stick to volunteers in the sense that it could be just when you want to have programs that you kind of reach out to people for or reach out to ambassadors amongst your community members to be able to hold your programs. Or you could also decide to have a full team. Let's say you want to have ambassador structure in an entire country. That could give you like an opportunity to have an entire team compared to just one or two leads. Again, depending on what your structure looks like, depending on what your programs are, your purpose, your values, and all that. So 60% of in-person community program are volunteer-led. I wanted to also mention that feel free to call your ambassadors anything, right? You could call them anything. Ambassador is more used again is a buzzword in the community industry. So this was a report from the 2021 Community Industry report from CMX. This is to show they start to bring a lot of people together that have the same interests, the same common goals. They start to lead, champion your program, they start to lead what you're doing instead of you. And it gives you a lot more, let's say, relief off the shoulder of your KPIs, of meeting your KPIs, of meeting your targets. And this time around, you have your community members that are championing all this. So, how to find your superheroes? Again, I love to call them superheroes. I absolutely love the ambassadors at Inclusive for Good. They're like superheroes. The first thing is to know who are they, their characteristics, their skills, their motivation, their demography. So for Inclusive for Good, again, what's qualified somebody to be an ambassador would be they are currently in school, right? They're not yet graduates. They're in school. Although we are launching Inclusive for Good in cities very soon, those will be graduates or people that are doing like they don't want to go to school. But yeah, so for ambassadors in campuses, they are graduates. They already have tech skills because that's really important to us. They already have tech skills and they have a little bit experience about managing communities or just like managing people. So sometimes we try to target people that are already leading societies, within the school, and all of that. They have the motivation, they love to help others. Again, around our values, helping others, adding value, connect, and then keep growing. And then will you train and certify them? Are there people that you need to give them extra skills or extra training for them to be an ambassador? This to me, I think they should be already members of the community because those are the people that would totally understand what you want to do because they're already members of the community. They're like the super fans, the ones that carry your matter for head, like literally. I hope everybody understood that. Do they also have experience? These are like different categories of how you choose who your ambassadors would be. And then the next thing is your expectations of them. Are they going to be having events or trainings or the type of programs they want to have? Are they going to, how many attendees do you want from them, or how many people do you want from them to join the community? What quality of attendees do you want from them? What topics are they supposed to, for example, at University for Good, obviously 90% or like 70% of their topics is going to be around tech, or supporting topics that's around tech. So tech topics could be UI UX design, start a career in UI UX design, or more specific. And then supporting topics would be how to create your CV as a UI UX designer, right? Those are topics that are relating to what we as designed as what our programs would be. What tools are you providing for them? What tools do they need to have? Timeline, how long will they be an ambassador? For us, we had our ambassadors until they graduate. So, for example, an ambassador that started in 200 level has up to 2 years to be able to continue to be an ambassador until he or she graduates. And we also give them the option of, okay, if your final year is going to be like really tough, because we understand what the expectations are in school, and school is really important for us. You have to pass, right? If you can't jeopardize school because of your volunteerism. So if that's going to be a problem, we give you the option of dropping out or as an ambassador. And then thirdly, rewards. Rewards are really important. What do they gain? What motivates them? What they get? What you're giving them? There are some ambassador programs that is like a paid internship, right? For like say big tech companies, they could pay them. For nonprofit like us, what motivates our ambassadors are the fact that they're helping other people to like live good life, to increase their earning power. So that's kind of success stories that we're able to get from them, and they come back to share with us that that what I did yesterday over the last month was really really. This is also personal to me in the sense that starting a community at Lagos State University where I graduated from. And I had like success stories of people coming back to say, "Oh, more like if you didn't talk that day, I don't even know where I'll be now." This kind of success stories. These are like the motivations that our ambassadors get. So you want to determine what motivates your ambassadors. What are you giving them? For us, we know that swags, tech bros and techies in the building. We love swags. So send out swags to our ambassadors. We're non-profit as possible to be able to give sort of value, because we're not able to give funds or give money. So again, it depends on you, depends on your brand, depends on your company, your organization, and what you are able to afford. I really do hope you can still hear me. Yeah, so this picture, again, what I try to look at ambassadors are they're like bridges, right? They're the ones that lay down their their path, or lay down the pathway best to communicate with your community members. And if you search for the meaning of ambassadors or of an ambassador online, you see stuff like representative, promoters, superheroes, right? They are the ones that they are representing your brand to the larger community. So you want to take care of them well. You want to choose who's best would represent what you do. And now we're going to be talking about the final step, which is the application and onboarding. Now, to build an ambassador program, to also determine uh, how do community members, or how do people show interest in being an ambassador? So, what's the process going to be like? Is there going to be a form? Do they have to submit a video, or are you going to do interviews? Are you going to do um, uh, video calls? And also security check-ins in terms of IDs, just so we're very sure of who you are inviting to join you on your table. And then the onboarding is really important in the sense that you don't just sort of apply and get them joining, but you're not creating some sort of like a resource for them, a Bible or a wiki or a playbook, whatever it is that you want to call it. There has to be a resource that ambassadors would go through, and they'll be able to understand um, exactly what they need to do. So in your resource, you're going to have stuff about your company, about your brand, the code of conduct, the program build out that we talked about earlier is going to all be there, so they understand what type of programs that they're doing. the timelines, how long will they be an ambassador, how soon do they have to have an event before immediately after they've been onboarded, how soon do they need to have 10 events before you send out their rewards to them, those kind of information will be in the onboarding resource. Promoting their events, do they have to have social media accounts? Again, this is not doesn't necessarily work for all brands or type of brands, but for University for Good, we know that visibility is really important to be able to reach students, and students like to own their own stuff. So we made it that's a semi-compulsory, but we made it compulsory for ambassadors to have social media accounts for their institutions. So each one of them are able to promote their events. They're able to show creativity and promote their events. And we also do our part in pushing out those events as well, sending out to the newsletters, also communicating with the community members directly from them. And out of all these, little intricacies are stuff that you kind of look at and iterate and iterate and iterate. You're always going to get better at it. Resources also, I believe, should be dynamic, not necessarily static. Dynamic in the sense that it's always going to be updated because things changes. And then monitoring and reporting, monitoring and evaluation. How do you monitor them? How do they report what they've done? Again, these are like steps that you're always going to get better. You're always going to iterate. And yes, you've got this. Go ahead and build an amazing ambassador program. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'm also willing to have conversations with you if you want to build your ambassador program as a community manager, or you have a company and you want to build an ambassador program, or you have a community and you want to build an ambassador program. So yeah, thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yes, Anifuri. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I, I think my voice is
Welcome to Max. Yeah. So I hope like everybody heard all through. I was just like trying to check the internet was still working fine and all. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to me on my social media pages, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the ambassador program, or even talking about community generally. So yeah, thank you
yes.
guys for having me.
Yes, Anifuri. I can see you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that section. It was really, really great. I just have one question for you, and I really enjoyed every bit of it. I don't know. Yes. So my question would be, discuss about the pros and benefits and how to, build the ambassador program in Africa. But I'd like to know, if I was doing so, what are the cons? What are the problems I may face, and how will I solve those problems in building ambassador program in Africa?
Right. That's actually a good question. Um, so a lot of the program, well, there are going to be a lot of problems, trust me. But I think some of the major ones would be um, not picking the right people, because sometimes they're not necessarily always the best judge of character all the time, and that's why your form and the way the interviews with your um, potential ambassadors is really important. So you want to pick people that are not troublemakers in quotes. But sometimes it's not necessarily, it's unavoidable. You're going to come across people that would break the rules, or cause trouble, just like literally cause trouble. So you want to like um, create a space where ambassadors are able to kind of report situations like that to you, right? And also a code of conduct. I say code of conduct because a lot of the time, not everybody reads it, right? And that's fine. But sometimes when you have that in place, it's something that you're always going to kind of be sending people back on, like, look at this, look at this. And another problem that I mm, is that you have ambassadors that you've created resources for, you've created um, like a playbook for them to always go back to have like the information that they need to be able to build what you need them to build. But they're always going to come back to ask you the same questions over and over and over again. And sometimes as a community manager, you're like, yes, I'm here to answer everybody's questions, smiling face, and answering those questions. But other times you're like, oh my god, like literally just go back and read that playbook. It's all there, and that's totally fine. So sometimes it also helps you to know how you want to structure your playbook. So you keep on iterating and iterating and iterating.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And yes, yes, there are sometimes they ask a lot of questions. I'm also a community manager and I'm building a design community and I can relate, sometimes they ask a lot of questions and they were all documented. So why are you asking me? And yes, yes. So I totally agree.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you so much,
absolutely. I
Jennifer. Thank you
mean,
so
you could also, I think, thinking about it now, there's
yeah.
always like this FAQ that somebody could always do. Maybe pick out questions that most people are asking, and then start to do FAQ from there. Maybe that would help. I mean, I'm just thinking about that now.
Awesome, awesome. I
Maybe I
think that
should
would
try
be a great idea as
that.
well. I think that would be a great idea as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. If we have any questions, please, Jennifer, it's very happy to answer our questions. To drop them in the questions tab or in the chat tab in the event. And yes, let's just wait a minute in case someone is trying to ask a question. Awesome, awesome. Anifa, we would love to have you once again, and also we would love to have your tab, the slide deck, in case those who aren't able to attend, they could come to it. You know, if it's available online, you could paste the link in the chat channel, and this is a recorded space. And those who weren't able to attend, they could come back later on and go through it, and that we'll be very happy for it.
Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine. I can share the slides with you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really nice, talking about the ambassador program, having built it for over 3 years and then having to create, processes for it. Um, yeah, it was a nice exercise.
Yes, thank you so much, and we are so happy to have you and listen to you as well. Yeah, so your social media and everything is available in the link, and if I will paste it with us. So if you want to contact for personally, you could go to social medias and drop a message, and believe if she has a chance, she will reply respectfully. Thank you so much, Anifa, for joining us. And yes,
Yeah. And thank you for having me. Have an
thank
amazing
you.
day. Can't wait to listen to the rest of the speakers today.
Thank you, Anifa. Yes, so we're having amazing speakers lined up, and we had Bella, and now you. I'm super overwhelmed and super happy to listen to everyone. Yes, talk to you later. Bye.
And bye.
Bye.